Hi everybody, my goodness, it's January 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5th, right? January 5th. And it has been so long since we've come to you on these videos, and frankly, I feel a little bit disappointed in that. I hope that we still have a little bit of an audience for these things. But thank you for joining us today. It's a beautiful day. It's been a good Christmas season here at Visitation. The crowds for our Christmas liturgies were wonderful, and our decorators and our musicians, our cantors, everybody did. Keith Gard on the old video, everybody did a great job. I'm looking at him across the room here. And anyway, that's all in the parochial rearview mirror now, and we're at last able to get back on our video visitations. I am especially pleased to be here today because I have with me a wonderful, wonderful woman, one of my favorite folks, Amy Weideman Thompson. How are you today, Amy Weideman Thompson?
I am doing fantastic, thank you.
I certainly hope that you are. And Amy Weideman Thompson is here with us today to try to recruit from one of the ministries of our parish that, I don't know, it doesn't get a whole lot of shine, but it needs to. And that is people who help out with the funeral meals. It's really kind of an important thing. Nobody thinks about it until the time comes, you know. And then, bang, we have to have people to help out with this. So, Amy, why don't you launch into what you'd like to say, and if you'll permit me, I might ask some clarifying questions and make some other comments.
Okay. Well, the Funeral Meals Ministry is just a fantastic ministry. It was started many, many, many years ago by two amazing, long-standing parishioners by the names of Virginia Coppinger and Mary North. And at that time, they just identified a need and were creative enough to come up with an idea on how to address that. And that was to assemble some teams of women who would help with the post-funeral gathering that many families were having after a funeral or a memorial service. Mm-hmm. So, in those days, in the starting days, the women would be present at the home as a way to kind of watch over that space while the family was at the funeral. And they would receive side dishes from other parishioners who would come that morning and bring their food, and then they would set it up and have it lovingly prepared and ready for family and friends to gather after the funeral or the burial. And it was just a beautiful, wonderful way for the people of the parish to use their gifts to be there for each other. And about, I don't know, probably 25 years ago or so, Virginia tapped me on the shoulder and asked me to step in because she needed a new captain for one of the teams that she had assembled. And so I stepped in with a friend, and Virginia and Mary mentored me through being a team captain into taking over their role, their leadership role. So now, and then a few years later, I've been happily joined by Kathy Diamond and Linda Williams, who I wish were here today, but the three of us are the leadership who handles still the 12 teams that we have of women who are available when called to service. So that's kind of the history of it. I don't know if, anyway, do you have any questions about
Oh,
the
my
ministry,
word, I
or?
just have lots of them. So you got 12 teams.
Yes.
12 teams with no more funerals than we have. What do we have, around 20 funerals a year or something like that? Yeah, more, I'm sorry?
I would say more than that.
More than that now? Yeah? No, we don't have no such, nothing like that. Don't pay no attention to him.
I'm with Alejandro. I think there's.
No, well, anyway, between 20 and 30, let's say, funerals. Even on the high side of that, to have 12 teams of people helping out with funeral meals sounds like plenty, but I think you're going to tell me that that's not so true, because
Well,
maybe.
I think we're happy with the structure of what Mary and Virginia had going so strongly. And before COVID, gosh, we were so super strong and thriving as a ministry. Our goal would be for each team to have a good amount of women available to volunteer, because as we all know with funerals, it's not something you can plan for in advance or have on your schedule. And so our hope is that each of those 12 teams has, somewhere around 20 people available to be called into service, because there's lots of reasons why sometimes that won't work out, and we don't necessarily need all of the team members to participate every single time.
Right.
So if we have a good amount, that allows for flexibility. This is truly one of my favorite ministries to be involved with, and whenever the flexibility and the kind of last minute nature of it can be unnerving, I think, a little bit for people. At the same time, I always think about when Jesus asked those early followers, drop your nets, follow me. And I think our volunteers have the opportunity to do that when called. And it's just that reminder in our busy lives that there are ways that we can just stop and press the reset button and give ourselves a chance to look at the community and see a need and step in.
Yes, ma'am. You said before COVID it was thriving, so something about COVID, I guess, got a lot of people out of the habit.
Well, and understandably, there are women. When I think, gosh, I've been involved for 25 plus years, there are people who have been involved, like Mary and Virginia, long before even I started.
Yeah.
So understandably, some of them have retired.
Sure.
And we are, of course, honored and happy for that to happen. So, but there still are people who are still involved, longer than me, and are still there. So we appreciate everybody. There is a place for everyone, really, in this. I'd say there's two primary ways for people to be involved. One would be to be a team member, and that simply means that you would be called upon by your team captain to provide a side dish, anything from a hot dish to a salad to a dessert, and you drop it off at church the morning of the funeral, and that's the end of it. It could be a homemade item, it could be a purchased item. We no longer, really after the renovation of Ty Hall downstairs, the ministry moved primarily into hosting these post-funeral gatherings here in Ty Hall. Okay. And that kind of alleviates the stress of families who did not necessarily feel able to host in their homes. And so now we host most of our meals in Ty Hall. And team members, just provide our food, which is wonderful. The church actually provides the deli sandwiches from Price Chopper, and that's the main entree, and then volunteers bring side dishes. Now, if you want to be a little bit more involved than a team member, we do ask some team members, and every captain will work a little bit differently, but somewhere between 2 and 4 team members will help in the kitchen during the meal alongside the captains.
Right.
Preparing, visiting with family, doing a little bit of cleanup, and so that you can take a team member and have an opportunity to also be present during the funeral meal.
Yes, ma'am.
And then the big job, which actually anybody out there who thinks, oh gosh, the team member's a great introductory way to be involved, that's very true. Now, you're looking at somebody who started as a team captain. So if you have a leadership tendency and you enjoy working with people, compared to 25 years ago, our communication makes that role so much easier. With emails and cell phones, it's easier to get in touch with people and more quickly, and to get a response more quickly. And the nature of this ministry is very last minute and very flexible. So a team captain is just the leader of a group of around 20 women who you contact, reach out, ask to provide the food. You make the order of the sandwiches, pick that up, and then you are primarily the director and present during the meal, and
right.
just enjoying the day and being present for other parishioners.
And of course, sometimes these things involve serving 20 people, sometimes they may involve serving 200.
Right.
What I think I'm hearing you say, or what I'm inferring maybe, is that this important aspect of what we do stands in need of the involvement of maybe a new generation of women. Perhaps some of our younger people are conspicuously underrepresented in it. And that makes me wonder if our recruiting could also happen, not just via this video, but maybe through maybe PTO, maybe through Women of Young Children, something like that.
That would be great.
Okay, so you people that are involved in those things, maybe take this call to them. All right, good deal. Well, I think we ought to be able to supplement the ranks. I think we ought to be able to fill them up and do it.
That would be great.
Yeah, there's still a lot of vitality in this whole place, right? Right, okay, all right, right, yeah. Well, Amy, thanks so much for coming in.
Thank you.
It's wonderful to have you.
Well, it's great to be here, and the Funeral Meals Ministry is such a fantastic ministry that many other parishes have frankly replicated based on Mary and Virginia's good work. So we are thriving, we are surviving, but we would like to be stronger.
Yeah, yeah, we need to, I think the presence of some of the newer people in the parish, some of the, whatever their age, yeah. Well, we can do that. We'll get on it.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Have a great day.
All right, you too. You too. Well, let's see. I have a few incidental announcements, I guess. We ran out of our initial supply of this year's parish book. I don't know if that's ever happened before, but this is what it is. It's called The Monastic Heart by Joan Chittister, and I have not read it yet. I probably will. I read most of them. And in fact, you could read most of them, even if the book was chosen years ago, because we have an abundant supply of many of the books that have been chosen in past years. And I, for one, would like to get rid of them. So come by the office and say, I want a parish book.
I'm going to caution you on this, because we just had somebody call the other day wanting one of the past books that we are completely out of.
Yeah, we don't have all of them, but we have a generous supply of some of them. So anyway, if you didn't get a copy of The Monastic Heart, this year's parish book, fret not, because you have an opportunity to acquire a copy gratis any old time now. All right, it says they're going to be ready for pickup after Mass this weekend, or you can come by the parish office. This Sunday, we will celebrate on the solemnity of the baptism of the Lord, no less. We will celebrate all who were baptized in 2022 with the blessing of the newly baptized during the 10:30 a.m. Mass. It says a slideshow of baptism photos from the year will play in Thai Hall during hospitality time after the 10:30 Mass. And photos for the slideshow may be sent via email to Teresa Albright. So there you are. Also on Sunday, our Visitation Choir and Handbell Choir are going to present their annual Epiphany concert. And you know, we are so fortunate to have Maestro Manzo, our parish music and liturgy man, here to talk about that. So step on in here, Maestro Manzo.
Well, listen, I can't follow that act with Amy Thompson and you, and I know this video has already gone fairly, long already, so I really don't have much to say other than, I want to just give thanks to all those who are involved in the music ministry here at Visitation. It's a fairly big commitment, but they're dedicated, and I think they enjoy it. So, but I'm very grateful to all of them, and so hopefully you can come and support them, and you won't be disappointed either, because they do great work, and so I'm really proud of what we've put together.
And the concert this coming Sunday is going to start at 4 p.m.?
That's right, 4 p.m., and it's about an hour long, and it's all the Christmas music put into a concert format. And there'll be some singing of Christmas carols. It is still the Christmas season, after all. Come Sunday, we're putting a bow tie on it, basically. But
yes, sir. I understand. Great. Well, I think I'll probably still be in the country at that time, but I don't know for sure. The schedule this week is really kind of messed up because of funerals and whatnot. But anyway, good, wonderful.
Yeah. Thank you.
You do a good job. You know why they're dedicated and they do so well? Because of you.
Well, that could be a part of it possibly, but I certainly don't want to take a bulk of the credit.
No, not a modest man such as yourself. You wouldn't do that. But I'm telling you that a big reason for the success of it is your community building instincts, which we are very grateful for. All right, producer, I guess we're about out of time, so I'd better say thanks everybody for your attention to this video. It's wonderful to be with you again, and I look forward to talking with you again next week. Until then, goodbye and God bless.